someone says, this is someone that some of you may know, Dr. John Islam. I am shocked, saying to Jake, I'm shocked by your inconsistency in treating shirk in Hindu temples less worthy of criticism than that of Sufi istighatha. So pointing out the clear double standard that Jake, Fareed, okay, that other Madkhali in Bahrain, they say nothing about Hindu temples. They say nothing about the Abrahamic religion, kufr, that, oh, the Abrahamic religions are all one religion. Jake, Fareed, they say nothing. Why? Because they're pious murids of Rabbi Ferris. They're the students of Rabbi Ferris, so of course they're not going to disappoint their teacher. And then Jake responds, I'm shocked by your comment. I've never defended anything regarding Hindu temples. Of course, establishing them is worthy of criticism. Yeah, so establishing them is worthy of criticism. That's all that he can say. It's worthy of criticism. I've never disputed that. I haven't criticized them myself personally, God forbid. But it's worthy. It's worthy of criticism. Building a Hindu temple in the Arabian Peninsula, bringing back shirk to the Arabian Peninsula after the Prophet ﷺ and the Sahaba cleared the shirk and the paganism and the idol worship from the entirety of the Arabian Peninsula. These governments are bringing it back, building Hindu temples, building all of this kind of idolatry. Oh, it's worthy of criticism. Not that I would criticize, but it's worthy. However, the shubha of a Muslim performing istighatha, now this is where it gets real, or believing that it's not shirk akbar to do so, is far greater than the shubha of a Muslim visiting a Hindu temple or promoting/defending their establishment. Look at how he distorts it. Look at how, imagine that. So it's not that you are even doing istighatha. It's not that you're doing istighatha. You just believe that it's not shirk akbar. So my position basically, my position that it's shirk, istighatha in many cases, not all cases, as I've said for the 1,000 millionth time, istighatha in many cases, when it meets certain conditions, is shirk. Is shirk. Major, it's a major sin and it is shirk in certain cases. But is it shirk akbar such that there's no doubt that the person performing it is outside of Islam? No. No, that's what I've explained to Adnan Rashid. That's what I explained to everyone on multiple streams through, at this point, it's got to be like dozens, if not hundreds of tweets. So, but that position, where I think in many cases istighatha is shirk, and I don't elevate it to shirk akbar, where you takfir the person who does it or who thinks it's acceptable. Having that position is worse, is a bigger problem than Hindu temples being raised in the UAE, in Saudi, etc. Wow, that's really amazing aqidah there you have, Jake. That's amazing aqidah. You really know Tawheed. Your Tawheed is crystal clear. Just like Adnan Rashid's Tawheed is crystal clear when he was talking about making dua to jinn and angels, which Jake also agrees with, by the way. So, and look how he says, like, is far greater than the shubha of a Muslim visiting a Hindu temple. The problem is not Muslims are not visiting Hindu temples. It's establishing Hindu temples, you dope. Does Jake think that the criticism of Hindu temples that people have being built is that, if you build it, then maybe a Muslim is going to go to the Hindu temple? Does he think that that's the problem? Maybe. I think he really does. I think that's how ignorant he is. He doesn't understand like the seriousness of raising paganism and reintroducing it into the Arabian Peninsula. And I'm sure he doesn't understand or know about any of the fatwa regarding the practice of other religions in the Arabian Peninsula in particular, and how there's khususiyat. There are special restrictions on the Arabian Peninsula that many of the scholars of fiqh, the fuqaha, have delineated based on the Sharia. He's completely ignorant of this. That's why he thinks that, this is why he's describing it as like, what are the chances of a Muslim visiting a Hindu temple? That's not a big deal, but istighatha, which I'm sure 99% of you had no clue about prior to this whole attack by Jake and others. That is a much bigger issue. Here, answer this question, Jake. Which of these practices is backed by multi-billion-dollar secularization campaign? Is it istighatha, or is it the Hindu temples and the Abrahamic religion and this kind of interfaith kufr that is being spread by the Gulf countries in tandem with Zionists who are trying to create Judeo-Islam, just like they created Judeo-Christianity? Which one is being funded by billions of dollars and is backed by some of these governments, the most wealthy Muslim governments in the world? Who's pushing istighatha? Is there like a multi-billion-dollar global campaign to push istighatha? No. These are people in the villages people in the villages are perhaps practicing this or are confused about this. So he had no clue about Aqidah, his purported expertise. He doesn't understand why building a Hindu temple, reintroducing polytheism into the Arabian Peninsula, why that is such a huge deal, why that is such a huge crime, and a violation of Tawheed that threatens the Tawheed. I mean, aren't these Wahhabis constantly saying that, Saudi is the land of Tawheed? Maybe Jake is not familiar. Do you know what that means? Being the land of Tawheed? Because if you go to other places, go to other countries, Muslim countries, there's not the specific kinds of regulations in the Sharia that regulate other religions in other parts of the Muslim world. In Dar al-Islam, like this is classical fiqh. This is fiqh. This is the Sharia. Jake is ignorant. So even to the extent, not only defending Rabbi Faris's fatwa against boycotting Israel, but also even talking about Hindu temples, essentially defending Hindu temples. He said, "Oh no, I never defended anything regarding Hindu temples. I'm just minimizing the issue. So that you'll stop talking about it. And you fall in line with the rulers, the beloved rulers." That's not defending it. Who's buying this? Like, really? I mean, all of the people supporting him, if you look at the replies, and I've posted a bunch of them, they're coming from Saudi and the UAE. Just Saudi and the UAE. Look at this. The main comments defending him, UAE bot right there. Let's see. There's another Saudi guy. Saudi, the great Saudi Arabia. Like, that's what the big accounts that are defending him now, all of a sudden, they're UAE and Saudi. But think about the distribution, right? You have Salafis that live across the globe. You have Salafis in Pakistan, in Bangladesh, in India, in Malaysia, in Indonesia, in throughout North Africa, in the US, in Bosnia, all over the world, Albania. And what percentage of the world's Muslims are in Saudi and UAE? If you do the math, it's like 1%, between 1% and 2% of the world's Muslims. But what percentage of the accounts defending Jake are from the UAE and Saudi and Bahrain? 60%, 70%, 80%? Suspicious. Something's not adding up. Something's not adding up with those figures.